All right. It's that time again. Well, actually, it hasn't been this time in quite a little bit. I can't really say it's that time again, but screw it. It's that time again. And we're going to be talking about one of the best subjects in the world. What's that line?
We are going to be talking about all things video games on this episode of the Command Grab.
Yes, sir. Roll them 360s and hit all three buttons because we only do three. We only do EXs and we only do like ultras here. That's it.
That's how I play Geef, and my Geef is gold in Street Fighter 5, not 6. But
Hey,
whatever.
I still got that Platinum 5 Geef.
Mm.
It's not impressive, but
I mean,
this was at launch. So, yeah, it's pretty good.
neither is what Street Fighter is doing right now, but that is not what we're going to be talking about.
Oh,
That everything going on in fighting games is a whole other episode that we will not touch on right now. But
yeah.
everything is falling apart over there.
Everything's crashing.
But what is not crashing and what is not falling apart are us on Blue Sky. So if you make sure to follow us, me at Shikoku, Prophet at Prophet, and the entire podcast at TAGPW Podcast on Blue Sky, you'll be able to see us talking a lot. Like I was on a lot talking about AEW just now because Collision had a really good episode. We'll talk about that on another podcast. A lot of things are happening right now, a lot of great things. So make sure if you're following one of us, follow all of us. Because we all have a lot of good takes, a lot of good things that we're talking about. Prophet and I are on the podcast one every once in a while. I'm actually gonna Prophet. I didn't tell you this, but I'm gonna hop on the podcast Blue Sky tomorrow for
Okay.
Dynasty, so you can have a break. You can relax for once. So make sure you're following us everywhere so you can see everything. Also, you might not be able to listen to this podcast on there now. You will soon. We'll talk about that later. But please make sure you are listening and following us on Spotify. Not this podcast, our Off the Top Row podcast, but eventually all of our podcasts will be up there on Spotify for you to listen to. Eventually everywhere else. We're still working on all that kind of stuff. But for now, just make sure you're following us over on Spotify. We'll give you the actual link and everything eventually once it's all set up. But we do have podcasts over there already, so make sure you're over there and listening to us. Prophet, tell them about the YouTubes.
All right, guys. So this is probably where you're listening to the podcast right now. So, of course, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button so you can get our podcast and the other two. Well, this podcast and the other two whenever they drop. And here's the deal with our podcast for the most part. So today's one, the Command Grab, you're going to get all things video games. We also have Off the Top Rope, which is the weekly show that we do every week where we talk about AEW and soon, I say it every week, soon to be New Japan also. So be sure to look out for that. And also we talk about all things anime on the OVA. So yeah, man, like you don't just get one podcast with only one set of subjects. Now you get three. So it's totally worth it to subscribe, hit that bell button. Also, once you get to the end of this podcast, hit that like button. It helps us out, helps out the algorithm, tells more people to listen to this fantastic podcast. So with that, thank you, and let's get to the show.
Man. All right. So we have a lot of topics to talk about today. And
Mm-hmm.
for those of you wondering, we will be talking about the Switch 2, but that's going to be near the end of the podcast because that's going to be an extended conversation. Today, we plan on talking about Assassin's Creed, Path of Exile, First Berserker Kazan, and Monster Hunter. I don't know where we're going to start. Prophet, so I'm going to leave it up to you like we do on this podcast. What do you want to talk about first?
You know what? Let's talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Man. Okay. For reference, we have not played it yet. We haven't had a chance to play it, but we both own it.
Yes.
Currently, as of last week, there are over 3 million people that have purchased the game. So congratulations to Ubisoft. I know there's like a lot of other news about Ubisoft right now, about Tencent and all that kind of stuff. We're not going to touch on that. But congratulations to the Ubisoft team for knocking it out of the park with Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yeah. Congrats on that, and just like also just facing the adversity and just knocking it out. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It really did show that the most vocal and hateful out there were just a very, very tiny bit of the minority that was talking about it, when most people didn't care and they just wanted to play the game. They wanted to play the game, which was the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, congrats to Ubisoft, and it's also their fastest selling Assassin's Creed. So, on top of all of that, yeah, overwhelming success in the face of minor adversity.
Thank you for saying minor adversity, because they were just loud and stupid. That's
Yeah.
really all it was. They were just real loud, real wrong, and real stupid. Most of them have played the game already, by the way. You know the usual suspects. We're not going to talk about their names. We're not going to say their names because we're not going to give them the credence of hearing their name on another podcast.
Right.
But they've all played it. They've all had to try to find other reasons to say that it wasn't a good game. So just remember, make your own opinion when you're doing things. Definitely feel free to play a game without worrying about anyone else. If there's a demo, try a demo. Watch someone play it. Do something. Get your opinion, and then eventually play yourself, because that's what you do. Play video games.
Yeah, play them to have fun, guys. This is, video games. Like, well, for us as a profession, because
Mm-hmm.
we, pretty much work in the industry.
Yep.
But for most people, it's a hobby, man. Like, it's a super fun hobby. Don't let other people shit on your hobby and just like ruin your fun. Block them out. Play what you want to play. And play how you're going to play it, and have fun.
Yes, please. Like if Monster Hunter didn't absorb my life like how games do at this point, I would have already played it. I don't think I would have beaten it yet, but I would have played it. So it is in my backlog. I am going to play it. It also helps that, you kind of have to be wary about Ubisoft games sometimes, because you never know with them. This one feels like it's knocked out of the park. Great reviews and everything too, by the way.
Yeah, well, they took the extra, what was it, 5 weeks?
Yeah.
And it was nothing but polish. And let me tell you, just as a game designer that has been through it on all ends, right? The 5 weeks of nothing but polish is like something almost unheard of in the current industry today.
God.
You usually get like 3 days, a week, maybe like at the most you get 2 weeks, right?
If you're lucky, that 2 weeks.
If you're lucky, yeah. Even that 2 weeks is, you get 1 week, one actual week, and then the next week after that is testing and don't touch the build, don't touch anything. So you literally get like 2 weeks equals a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even, and sometimes not even that, because you'll have those times where it's like Friday, no one can check in, right? And like put in work. And so, 5 weeks of just hardcore polishing and getting the game good in there, it helps a lot. And you can always tell when it happens.
Mm-hmm. So again, congrats to Ubisoft. Congrats to the Assassin's Creed Shadows team. Great. I can't wait to play it. I'm probably going to play it like maybe probably next month, depending on what happens. But again, shout out. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's probably next on my list, right after the next game I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
First Berserker Kazan.
Oh, man. All right. So, Prophet, I have questions because I haven't been able to play the demo. I haven't been able to touch it. You've been playing it, though.
Yes.
And I've seen people have been going crazy on Twitch with it right now. People are really having a good time. So, Prophet, what are your first impressions of First Berserker Kazan?
Whew, boy. Okay. So I'm about 3.5, 4 hours, a little bit more, because like the first part of the game, like until you get like the 3 weapon types, is kind of like a tutorial, and then once you get out of that, you start getting in it, like really in the shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, okay, if you're on the spectrum of you like Neo style games, and I'm specifically saying Neo on purpose, because the combat in First Berserker Kazan um is really fast paced, and it's pretty much Neo like. I'm not gonna say it's 100% Neo like, because it's like they have a parry system and they have like all kinds of like other things to like reward you, like this interesting block system too. But it is closer to Neo than it is Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Elden Ring, right? Because of how fast and crazy it is. And man, I'm having so much fun playing it. There's a lot of, you can make some good builds in there. Like it's build friendly, for once. Of
Really?
course it has talent trees and shit. Yeah. It
Oh
has
shit.
talent trees that based on your weapon type, but you see all the weapon type talent trees. You can see them all, so you can go through and look. Okay, I want to pick this ability, pick these things around it, and then there's like a tree that has like all of that affects all trees. Like I think it's called the common tree. I have to look at it again, but it has stuff that'll help you out like just all around. But it doesn't cost you to respec it, right? You get all the points, but it won't cost you to respec it. So you just hit like I think it's square, refunds all the points on all the trees, and then you can just spec how you want. You don't get penalized for like not knowing, right? And then of course it has the system where when you kill guys, you get souls, right? The most interesting thing I've seen in the game is when you're fighting a boss. Now, they usually, like, so far in front of, like, main bosses, the save has been right in front of, like, you're in the hallway, and the boss is, the door to the boss is right there. The save point's right, right between the doorway and the boss, right? So you just save right there, and then you open the door, there's the boss, and you do your boss fight. If you die, it's not a loss. It's not a complete loss. So your souls and all that stuff, or this is called lacrimosa. So I'm just gonna say souls because I don't
Mhm.
want to say lacrimosa all this time. So your souls, like when you die, they'll get kicked out of the room with you, right? So they'll be in front of your save point, and depending on the percentage, how far you got the boss down, you get souls based on that too. So if you're fighting the boss and, if you're hard headed like me, I like going in and just like constantly trying to fight the boss to find out, like, okay, I did this wrong this time. Let me try something else. Let me keep trying, right? Well, while you're trying, you're getting souls and you can possibly level up after like, so many tries.
Oh,
And
so there's
depending,
actual trial and error.
there's trial and error, but it's not like you get rewarded in a way for like, so you get the boss down by, you get them to like 10% health and then you die. Well, shit, you're going to get a lot of souls plus your souls that you, that you had on you before you got killed. Right.
Hmm.
And that could possibly equal, hey, I can bump up a stat point somewhat to, be able to kill this boss. It's really cool. I love that system because I don't want to. Sometimes I don't want to go around killing all the enemies again and then respawning them and killing them. Right. I just want to figure out how to kill the boss in my weird ADHD brain. So I just want to go kill. I'm like, okay, I'm strategizing. I'm thinking about the fight. I don't want to get out of that moment and then do other things that takes me out of that moment because once I go back to the boss, I'm gonna get fucking annihilated.
Hmm.
My brain switched from that to killing fodder, right? So yeah, there's trial and error, and it rewards you for your trial and error.
Okay, that's actually really interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was doing that because that is I don't think we've ever actually talked about this. But the one thing that I do not like about Souls games
Uh-huh.
or like Souls games in general, like I would do it in like a JRPG, but I don't like doing it in a Souls game. I don't like having to go to the bonfire or whatever the mechanic is for saving your progress,
Yeah.
resetting, running around, killing whatever little mobs are there, then going back to my bonfire or whatever the thing is called, and then just resetting and restarting the world and going back over there again. I'd rather
Right.
just fight the boss a bunch of times and then
Yeah.
actually be able to get like experience not only in game but actually through the fight. That seems
Yep.
like that's perfect.
Yeah. Like they want you. It's one of those things they want you to try to kill the boss. Like, hey, find out how to kill him. Right. Like instead of punishing you for trying, because in a Souls game, you say you brought a whole bunch of souls and you probably had enough to level. You stumbled upon the boss on accident and you get killed.
Hmm.
Well, all those souls that you had that you could possibly use to level up, they're sitting there in the boss room, and then you got to run all the way back to the boss room and then fight the boss again. And guess what? You don't find out until later. Oh, hey, you were under level for, or it wasn't that you're under level for the boss, but you don't know his tactics, so you try to get your souls back, and then he one shots you again. So
Gone forever.
all the souls are gone, so you're in that weird spot. Well, this it literally you get killed, the souls go out with you, and you could just pick up the souls, and then they also give you souls for fighting the boss, for attempting the boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
And based on your performance and how far you got him down, you get more souls, and then you can eventually level up. So I think that's a really cool system.
That's dope. Well, while you were talking about this, I downloaded the demo on my PS5.
Yeah, it's fast paced. It has the so I didn't break down. It has three. It has I think it's like 3 or 4 different weapons. I'll list them out right now. So you have dual wield, which is he's wielding an axe and a sword,
Mm-hmm.
two-handed sword, and a spear. Or yeah, it's a spear, lance, whatever. It's a spear. And those are the weapons you're working with. But of course, here's the other reason why I say it's more Neo like. There's, gear sets and things like that give you buffs and stuff because you get all the pieces of the gear set or getting certain amount of pieces. You have the weapon rarity and gear rarity system. That's why I say it's closer to Neo in the Team Ninja.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, yeah. I've only seen people play it, right? I haven't got a chance to actually play it myself. It looks like what's the word that I want to use? It does look aggressive, but now that I know they have like gear sets and stuff like that in there, it makes sense. Because when we talked about it before, I said it was like more Sekiro, like that's what it looked like to me. But with gear sets stuff like that, it makes more sense now that it's more Neo than Sekiro.
Right. Yeah, it has that Sekiro element, right? Because Sekiro is heavy counters, heavy, you know, I forget what the system is. I think it's parry.
Mm-hmm.
The parry system and things like that.
Yeah.
You got to master that system in that game. This game has so I like to call it the Street Fighter system, the Street Fighter 3 parry system in a way. So if you hit block, you tap block, right? And you tap it when they try to hit you, right? Like the second, like it's not the second it hits impact, there's a window, but you hit it within the window. Instead of you taking the full brunt of the force, you move the you knock their weapon to the side. Like it's like a parry in a way. And then you can act. But some of those guys they hit multiple times, so you could just keep tapping, 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 tapping. So you hence the Street Fighter 3 parry system. You'll be like ding, 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 ding. So you could do that, right? The other defensive thing, you can block. Of course, you can block. And blocking is actually better than doing some things sometimes, right? Like, there's one boss that I fought, and I was trying to do all the evasion and stuff like that, and I would get fucked up every time. And then I decided to block, and it made the boss 10 times easier. I was like, wow, all I needed to do was block? Really? That's it? And maybe parry every now and then blocking just got me out of so many situations. So block is actually good in this game.
That's good to know because usually in a lot of those situations, in those like Souls-like games or Souls games, I've never been a fan of blocking because it feels like depending on who you're fighting, you get punished for like just straight blocking. So it's good.
Yeah. Of course you have dodge. So you have like so many swings, you can shuffle around, dodge. But you have a stamina system, so you gotta be careful, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if they attack and you dodge or you parry, it doesn't take your stamina. They have a stamina system too. So doing one of those like parries fucks up their stamina because you could deal stamina damage to them.
Ooh,
And then they get all staggered and tired and shit. So that's like another element of the game. And then there's a command parry that you have.
Man,
And you can do this because like there's moves that like it'll show up. Hey, this move they show you this one move is unblockable, but you could dodge or you can do this command parry, which on PlayStation is like I think it's L1 and square or L1 and triangle. And it's the one where like you literally go bam, hit them, knock their, weapon aside, and then you can start doing attacks and fucking them up, right?
Oh, it's like one of those like where you're like you swing your sword, like that kind of thing, that kind of
Yeah.
parry.
So if I swung my sword and you did the command, you would knock me like you knock my weapon to the side, right? And I would be stunned for a second.
My favorite kind of parrying. Okay.
Yeah, it's that one. But that one you can use it on almost everything. But its big use is if they do a unblockable attack that you can't block, or it's like a tricky to like dodge, you can use that parry, boom, and then you can start attacking. And they also give you the ability to increase the window of that parry, so you could do it earlier, right?
Oh shit.
So like it's one of those talents in that talent tree. There's crafting. There's like a whole nother system I haven't even got into yet. I just got to keep going. But you earn like all these. You earn these things where you can buff up your damage and stats and stuff even more.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like so far, man, First Berserker Kazan is pretty goddamn fun. Like I'm only like I said, like 4 or 5 hours into it. But once I got into it, once I started learning all more stuff, it's really, really fun. And I don't know, I might be a little early on it. It might be, might hit that game of the year tier. We'll see as I keep
Ooh.
playing it.
Okay. That's high praise. Like that. Like I said, I've only heard good things about that game. Like it feels like a lot of people aren't really talking about it a lot because there are just like a lot of other things that are like covering it right now.
Yeah.
But the people who seem like they've been playing that game seem like they really enjoy it. So that gives me more reason to sit down. That might be my game after I'm done with South of Midnight.
Yeah. And also, it's anime as all hell. So, yeah, there's that too.
Oh, when I was watching the demo, I was like, oh shit, yeah, this is fucking. You can tell that this was made for like anime Souls fans. So
Yeah.
it
Which,
works.
if you guys like anime Souls games, play Code Vein. That is like a super underrated game.
God, the game's been out for a while too. If you haven't played, I got a chance to play it a little bit a while ago. It's a very good game. All right, man. What would you like to talk about next? We have two more subjects before we get to the big subject.
Oh
What,
yeah.
what
Well,
would you like to talk
so
about next?
let's talk about Monster Hunter, man.
Man, Monster Hunter. All right. All right. So the last time we talked about it, we talked a lot about the frame rate issues that it was having. We talked a lot about people saying that the game wasn't really hard, right? Since then, title update 1 came out. I believe like a couple days ago from our time of recording, right? So we have a couple new monsters, Mizuzune, and we have returning. I'm not gonna say the boss name for you because you haven't gotten there yet. I don't think you're in high rank yet, right?
No, not yet.
So I won't say the name of that boss. You probably already know it because you've already seen it more than likely. But I would feel bad if I said the name and talked about that fight and you haven't done it yet. So I'm going to avoid that one. What Monster Hunter tried to do, what Capcom tried to do, they tried to hit a lot of the points that people were talking about that were negatives against the game. One was frame rate. I'm going to be honest. I haven't seen that much of an upgrade since title update 1. Apparently for Steam users, it's supposed to like knock down the VRAM usage, right? It definitely doesn't feel like it well, on Thursday it wasn't great, right? Because everyone was on it. I was stuttering a lot on Thursday. I've been able to play since then, but that first night was not great. Like it was dropping to like 15 frames a second and like stuttering and real hard. It was bad every once in a while. Once it stabilized. But I didn't see any super improvements. But I only got to play on Thursday. But I did get to do all of the content already. All I got to do is farm at this point.
Like a madman.
Yeah, look, the fights weren't too bad for me.
Yeah.
Mizuzune is the first one. It's the first fight, the first new monster that came in. If you played Monster Hunter Rise, that is the water dragon that has bubbles and like spits water at you and does like bubble blight and stuff like that.
Yep.
I haven't been able to fight the temper version yet because I've only fought it once. That fight was a lot of fun. Mizuzune looks gorgeous in Wilds too, by the way. In 4K 60, just looks fantastic. The other fight is the one that's causing problems right now. Quote unquote problems. Again, for you, Prophet, I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but it is the final fight of low rank before you go into high rank in the story.
Okay.
They bought that monster in because now that monster is in high rank.
Okay. So that was because you couldn't refight him after you fought him in the story, right?
Right. Like it was one and done. So no armor, no nothing. You couldn't get anything from it, right? Now you can. It is a high rank fight, and it's probably like the hardest fight in the game right now.
Shit.
Let me tell you, people were complaining about difficulty, this is it.
Uh-huh.
They got the difficulty immediately because that fight is not an easy fight.
Oh shit.
People were talking about how they're carting all the time. It took me 2 times to do it, but to be fair to me, the second time I did it solo. I also carted twice out of the 3, but I
Oh,
did it solo. The first time I had my lobby open and someone joined, and
yeah.
I died once, right? But I was in a good place. I was still kind of like working, doing stuff. The person that joined died twice in 5 minutes
Oh,
and completely wrecked my first run of that fight.
okay. I got
But
it.
I did beat it the second time. I haven't got a chance to farm. I'm probably gonna do that maybe tomorrow before Dynasty. But man, Monster Hunter Wilds has done a really good job on difficulty, and this also means that it's only the beginning.
Yeah.
Because not only did it do this, they also added a couple of Star 8 hunts also for the other Apexes. So you have harder fights of everything now. So it actually feels like an end game now compared to you're just fighting Temper Arkveld or Temper Gore Magala and you're done. Like now you have more of a rotation. There's a lot more monsters that you can get high rank materials from, the highest ranked materials, so you can make more stuff up there. And the game right now, it just feels like it's in a really good place right now.
Okay. Yeah, that's good, man.
It's a lot of fun. Like I said, I haven't got a chance to play it too much since beating the content already, but like I said, I want to make sure I beat the content day one before I got those fights spoiled for me. And like I'm not going to spoil it for you either because I want you to get at least to like high rank so you can see that final boss that I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But just glorious. Like I like it. They also added a hub area now, so everyone can go into the hub and have a good time. The hub looks fantastic. There's a lot of things to do in there also. Like you can go bowl, you can sit down like you normally can. Everything is in there, so you don't have to be in the normal cities anymore. Everyone can just go to the Grand Hub and hang out there.
Nice.
There's also some secrets in there also. It's just they did a lot in this title update. A lot of necessary changes.
Nice.
That's really it. Like all I'm gonna do is gush. So I kind of don't want to gush anymore. Like the game is in a really good place right now. The only thing that I have right now that I'm not fully a fan of yet, I want to see how the stability is now after a couple days. I don't think the hype died down because people are still actively farming everything right now. I do want to see if those VRAM changes do help anything. They didn't for me on Thursday, but I was literally in there like hour 1, so I'm
Well,
hoping that changes.
was it that you were in there hour one and then you were playing on like you just joined a lobby?
Yeah, I just joined a lobby, right?
So
So like I don't know what was happening.
so is it different? Did it change when you did your own solo lobby? Because that's how I've been playing, like solo lobby that I can. It's literally blocked from everybody but friends, right?
Mm-hmm. So solo lobby worked really well. Like solo
Yeah,
lobby, I didn't have a problem, but I also like to be in like areas with other people because I
yeah.
don't mind people joining my hunts now that I'm like higher up. Except for that one guy that completely fucked up my run. Like other than that, I definitely do not mind people joining into my hunts and stuff like that. If we're in the same lobby, people can definitely join. But solo wise, if you're going into like a solo or like the solo online,
Yeah.
works pretty well.
Okay.
So no worries for you at all.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, it's real interesting, like how they're doing stuff with on the PC version, like the because it doesn't look like there's like it doesn't look like it takes up that much VRAM at all. Like at all. Like when I look at it, it's like only like what 7-8 gigs, and I have everything cranked up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure like what else is like hitting that VRAM very hard. I don't think it's anything. To be honest, I don't think it's anything the players doing. I think it's more the servers. Like when you go online to the servers, that's where everything is just like completely chaotic. Because like when you take that element out, the game runs fine.
Mm-hmm. And it's more than likely that too, because people have also been having. I haven't had this problem, so I can't really speak on it too much. But people have been having like connection issues also for a
Yeah,
couple days, so it easily could be that. It also could be that the servers are just overloaded again because now everyone's coming back to Monster Hunter.
yeah, yeah. And I think like, but you can also play if you absolutely wanted to. for people that are having problems online, you can play offline too.
Mm-hmm.
Just heads up.
And then if you really want to do like online solo and you want people to join, you can just fire up an SOS flare and it'll show up in a list so anyone from any lobby can join you. So if you really want to play with other people, like other randoms, you can do that. But right now, solo definitely feels like the way to go, especially for that final fight. You definitely want to do that final fight solo first so you can understand, because when you go in and you cart twice, it's a very unforgiving fight. It's not even tempered or anything like that either. It's just, this is the monster. It's gonna hurt you.
It's gonna hurt people. Okay.
Yeah. Fantastic fight though.
Nice.
Overall, Monster Hunter Wilds feels like it's in a really good spot, and plus it was a good idea to keep like arc tempered Raydao for a couple weeks. If they keep on doing this with the title updates, this will be. I think this is like the move for Monster Hunter now. Instead of dropping everything right away like they used to, break it up, because now people can farm the two new monsters, all of the new tier 8 hunts, and once after 2 weeks hits, you got Arc Tempered Raydao, which is probably gonna be the hardest fight in the game at that point. Because Arc Tempered, if y'all don't know, Arc Tempered is usually like the ceiling of fights in Monster Hunter. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. Once I get back into it, man, this will be a lot to go through.
The longer you wait, the better position you're going to be in, also, because you're just going to have a lot more content to do. And right now, the game right now is a lot better than it was when it launched. And when it launched for me, because I'm a hardcore crackhead for Monster Hunter, it works out very well. But now it feels like a complete game before we get to Master/G rank.
Oof. Yeah.
And we're only going to get more stuff because this was the first title update.
Boy. As long as they don't put in Basil Goose, I'm good. No, screw that. I'm going to fuck his ass up.
I was about to say, because the second you said it, it's going to happen now.
Screw him. I'm going to mess his ass up. They got so many, all that new stuff that they added, man, it's so good. Plus, I'm playing Charge Blade too, so.
Yeah, welcome to the club, man. Hell yeah.
I couldn't help myself. I was like, man, I want. Screw this. I'm playing some Charge Blade, man.
Man, use that pizza cutter, bro. It's great.
Yep. The pizza cutter wrecks people. Wrecks those monsters, man. I'm like,
so good.
Oh, I got incentive now. Don't let it be like an elemental one where it's their elemental weakness. It just rips them apart, man.
It's so good. It's like right now it feels like that's kind of necessary especially for like these couple fights that are new now. Yeah. You have to make, like, a lot of people especially in like Worlds and kind of in Wilds now too, a lot of people just like to make one set that's like a raw set and they can just use that for everything. Mm-hmm. Right now you can't really do that. Like, if you're good, you can for sure, and if you want to do it, you can, but realistically you should be making your elemental sets for everything, stacking up your resistances to whatever element they do, and that will make your life a lot easier. Upgrading your armor, leveling it up to the max level as you need to, will make things a lot easier for a lot of people, because I know people are struggling right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because the last boss I did was, I think it's Narcilla. It's a spider one.
The one that like does the web and kind of like swings at you.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like you're pretty close to the end of the first story. Pretty close.
Yeah, because it's like right when, I don't want to do spoiler alert here, but it's, if you play through the beginning, where the kid is from, basically. That's where.
Oh yeah, so you're really close to ending low rank and going to high rank. So that means you're in chapter 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're close. I say whenever you have time, just knock that out. You'll get to that fight that I'm talking about, the low rank version, soonish after that, and then you're straight to high rank from that point.
Yeah, because you're getting guided around by that little fucking thing. What is it? I forget what they're called, but they're not the cat things. They're the other things that look like fat feral cat things. They just look like little fat ones, and they just talk a lot of shit to you, and steal your stuff. Those guys.
They're so great. I know what you're talking about.
There's that adventurer one that you save, and he's guiding you around the cavern.
Mm-hmm.
And he was caught by the spider thing.
Yeah, he was doing his little poetry while being upside down caught. Yeah.
Yep.
By
I guess
Nursilla,
this
yeah.
is where I meet my end, and then, and then you save him, and he's like, okay,
I don't remember too many names because I'm 100 hours deep in the game at this point already. I
yeah,
don't remember names. I am all about the grind now at this point. I forgot everything about the story, so it's all gone.
yeah.
So,
No, I don't remember seeing any. I just remember it was those little fat cat things.
but yeah, man, Monster Hunter is in a really good place right now. It's only gonna get better. I do expect them to do a couple changes because I would still like to like eat in the Grand Hub with like friends and stuff like that. Have Buff Cat make my food and stuff.
Yeah,
I feel like that stuff's gonna be coming. They also need to do a couple balance changes for sure because there are some weapons that are like kind of lagging behind everything. But other than that, Monster Hunter Wilds right now is in a very good place.
that's good. So we went to something that's in a very good place. Now let's go to a game that's not in a great place.
Man, the last game we're going to talk about before the Switch 2.
Yep, and that's Path of Exile 2, man.
We're back at it.
I jumped in. What was it? Because Dawn of the Hunt came out yesterday. 29 gig patch thing was huge, man.
Ugh.
Picked the Huntress, and it's cool. It was cool, but man, to me, it was slow as shit. Like real slow. Warrior slow is slow, man. And everything hit super hard. Like way harder than before, man. Like I'm not sure what it was, but I fought the in the first area, like literal first area where you first get out of the first hub that you're at, and then you go on, the extra enemy, the ice witch lady that's sitting there in the snow,
Yeah, the one that shoots like the ice shards at you. Yeah.
and you get the resistances. Dude, that fight was so hard for no reason, man. It was way harder than it was before. Like, especially, like when you get to the part, she starts like calling swarms and stuff like that in. When you're fighting her, she hits like a truck now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's anything they did to make her do that, but it everything hits really hard and lasts really long. That was my main takeaway, like from playing for 2 hours. Everything hits really hard, lasts really long to fight, and it's just a slog, and it's not really fun. I don't feel like investing the time to play it when there's all these other great games out. So I'm going to take a back seat from it and just like, kind of let it do its thing and shake out because yeah, it doesn't feel fun to me at all.
I haven't played it myself yet, and it feels like that was like the right choice because you and we have talked about Path of Exile 2 a lot on this podcast, right?
Right.
I think at this point combined, we have like maybe 250 hours, maybe 300 hours in the game,
Yep.
possibly. The fact that it's slow for every class is not a good thing right now. We've talked about it, right? We talked about how Bailey was kind of weaker than everything else, especially the warrior. We talked about like how good Monk is. We've talked about range, stuff like that. If everything was tuned down to where the warrior is, the game is not fun anymore for any class.
Yeah, it's not fun. If you're slogging around like a warrior, the game sucks. Like I really, the one thing I was really hoping for was just bump everybody else up, right? Not do these unnecessary like the ones that were like just walking through content. Of course, you're gonna have. I'm not gonna argue with that,
Yeah,
but
makes sense.
nerfing the player, buffing the enemy, and like over buffing the enemy to where they're just a normal mob is a tank. It's not fun at all. Like it sucks.
Nah, especially with how like the drastic difference that people were doing in mapping in like we'll say like 0.1 compared to what sounds like is happening in 0.2 already.
Yeah.
Like it does not work, right? Like you said, there definitely should have been like some kind of balance. They needed to hit some things, they needed to adjust some things, right?
Mhm.
But it feels like they took the wrong path here because like we said, if you make every class feel like the warrior, including I don't know, like you play Huntress, so it sounds like including the new class also sounds like she's not fun right now in comparison to what is happening in the game.
Yeah, she's got fun things like that. Parry is cool. She does a lot of stuff that blinds people. Like you can like toss out. She has an ability where she tosses out tornadoes, and she has like this whirlwind thing. So you do the whirlwind, and then you do the tornado thing. Gives you more tornadoes that fly out. I can see where later on that could just be insane. If they let you. And there's other abilities like it looks like a lot of her tree has like a lot of bleed aspects to it, but it's going to be more getting there. And if getting there is a slog, and I don't know, man, like I'm not like the PoE experts on there, but it just doesn't feel fun at all. Like, and plus, like, since your upgrades on the talent tree are like kind of like tiny increments, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I put my next point into the next talent, it doesn't feel like I've upgraded myself that much. Maybe in the next 10 talents you'll feel it, but at that one point when you put that point in there, it doesn't feel like you did anything.
That sucks. We were talking about it before the podcast, and like you said, it's probably a good time for them to do this now.
Yes.
But on the flip side, right now the people who are playing are your hardest of hardcore audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're the one. I said there. We are the ones who have paid for the game now, right? When the game is alive, it's going to be free to play.
Yep.
So it's a really tough place to be in right now because they're going to have to fix this. And I guess because it's an early access, you can get away with keeping it like this until like some time, but you might be in a place where like Diablo 4 was at 1.0, right?
Yeah.
Like people played the shit out of Diablo. Don't get me wrong. We're not going to sit here and pretend like nobody played Diablo 4 1.0 when it launched.
Shit, I played the fuck out of that game, man.
The shit out of that game, right? There were problems. And the difference between Diablo and Path of Exile is that Path of Exile might be in early access, but if you rub people the wrong way on your first major patch, that's not a good sign for people that made the investment. Diablo 4, no matter what you say about Diablo, no matter how much you love or hate Diablo, you always know that the 1.0 patch is probably going to suck and is going to get better within a month. Guaranteed. Usually, like, it's less than a month. Like, I'm just trying to, do a thing. If Path of Exile can't do that, they can't fix this problem in a couple weeks, they're probably going to have issues getting people back other than, like, sponsor content and doing stuff like that. Because it's not going to be, it's not a good look now. Like, if you go on the Reddit, if you're a wild person that wants to go see what the top 1% of, like, addicted people are talking about, go to the Reddit. And their Reddit right now is filled with people who are just sick of this. And one guy who was like, the game's perfect. Now you should go over to Path of Exile 1 and do 3.26. But
yeah, nice try, bud.
Like, here's right here. It's like, thank you, GGG. This is perfect. You can at least spare some time, some dev time for 3.26 now. Like, I played a few hours and it is amazing. Hoo boy. I don't think there's anything else that can be here. There's nothing else wrong. So definitely just head over and do 3.26. Thank you. And everyone's like, no.
So get the fuck on out of here.
Get out of here.
Yeah, man. It doesn't feel good. But all I'm going to say is there was a game that, delayed itself so people could play this Path of Exile 2-1. I think it's, oh no, it's in 2 weeks, man. Like, they should just release early, man, because Path of Exile 2 is kind of bombing right now. So last Epoch, man, it's their time to shine.
Do you know how fucked up I am? This is why I can't own the studio. And I'm going to be honest when I say this. You know why I wouldn't do that?
Why is that?
I would let Path of Exile hang itself right now. Because
they totally are.
Y'all, I had to move. Y'all set yourselves 2 days before we were here. And now look what you're doing. You put yourself here and look, your game's shit right now. It's not in a good place right now. So I'm going to let y'all do this. I'm going to let y'all sit back. And once everyone's ready, in like a couple days, I'm put out my launch trailer. And when my launch trailer looks great, people are going to want to migrate over. People are going to pick up the game. And then when my game releases, I'm gonna make sure my shit is tight, so we won't have this problem. And people were waiting. People were waiting for me already. People were waiting for last epoch already. So
Yep.
now you're giving them even more reason to do this, and also they hate you more now because you made us move for a shit product. So have
No,
fun.
they are. They're totally waiting. I think it, like, as long as they're like, take those weeks of polish, extra polish that they can do, and polish it up and make sure it's like good to go, and it's clean and it's fun. I think you can get a whole lot of migrators.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, a lot of people already have a bad taste in their mouth now, right? Like we talked about it before. I think funny enough, we actually got to talk about it on our last. Did we talk? I think we talked about it on our last command grab. I think actually
What was that?
the date moving and the stuff that happened between Path of Exile and Last Epoch.
Oh yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah, and look what happened now. And we were already saying that we wanted to try Last Epoch.
Oh yeah, I was like, yeah, I can't wait. That was the one I was like mainly gonna jump to, was the last epoch one, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but did my due diligence. I tried the Path of Exile 2 one, and it's not good, man.
I went to their, while we've been talking, I went over to their patch note website, right, to see what's going on over here. It looks like they've been working because they had 6 hot fixes on the 4th.
Uh-huh.
So, and looks like they had another one earlier today on the 5th.
Yep.
Oh, and they reverted hot fix 6. They reverted it, so they've only done 5.
Because there was one hot fix that decreased the hit points of enemies, like from between levels 15 and, like, I think it was 46 or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But what they did was they took that chunk of life off of those enemies. So when you fought them, there was just like missing health, right?
All non-unique monsters have less life tapering from 100% to 75% of what they had between levels 8 to 15.
Right. So say you have a build where it's based on how much life they have. So if it's starting at 75%, right, and you say you did more damage at 100% or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
it completely like fucks that part of your build up. So you have to like readjust it because of that.
Yes. Yeah, this is looking at this is panic. If I've seen panic ever before, this is panic.
Oh yeah, it's 100% panic, dude.
1, 2, 3, 4 crashes were done. Wait, no, this is 8 crashes in hotfix 4 that were fixed. They had 8 different crashes. They had to disable NVIDIA Reflex. They had some. Oh, and this also came out messy too. Not only was it not fun, it came out buggy too.
Yeah, like the one thing I noticed was I couldn't even click on the option for FSR.
Yikes.
Like it was all disabled. Like they just had like the regular my linear upscaler. Not that it really matters. I got a 9070 XT, so it doesn't.
You're fine.
Right? Like it doesn't matter. But for other people that were you possibly using FSR before, you can't use it right now.
This isn't great. This is not a good look for them.
No, it's not a good look at all. Luckily, it's in early access. That's all I can say is just luckily early access.
That's the one benefit. And like we will talk about in our next subject, no matter how mad people get, it will go away.
Yeah. Eventually, it will go away.
Mm-hmm. I think that should lead us into our final topic of this episode.
Oh yeah, the final topic of the episode is the talk of the town. Is the main thing everybody's been waiting for. I've been waiting for it. Lionel's been waiting for it.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, everybody on the planet's been waiting for it. My dog's been waiting for it, and they don't even know what it is. But still, they were waiting for it because I was waiting for it. God damn it!
You have to buy them one too, so you have to buy like at least 4. And by 4, I mean I know. So it's you, wifey, dogs, and you need like 4 extra as backups. So you need to buy like 8.
Yeah. Of course, what we're talking about is the Nintendo Switch 2.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, man. So I'm going to start out with this. This is the one part of the podcast where we're going to be different. We're different from everybody else because we not only, speak about like, what's going on. We can give our insights based on, hell, we work in the game industry,
Mm-hmm.
right? But also we just, we tell the truth. We're not out there farming clicks and shit. We're not like some of those other guys that made 6 videos about one thing, one negative thing, right? We're gonna talk about the pros. We're gonna talk about the cons. We're gonna give you our opinions, and we're gonna discuss a lot of the stuff. So, but we're gonna do it without being some super clickbaity thing that you've probably seen, on all the other side, all the other YouTubers do.
Exactly.
With that, let's get into this Nintendo Switch 2. And let's start off with that direct.
Mm-hmm.
God damn, man. If that's a way that they came out swinging with that direct, and they had to. And that was probably one of the best Nintendo directs I've seen.
For those who aren't aware, I think there was like on Nintendo channels alone, there was a combined of like 2.5 million people watching live. It was probably more than that, honestly. It might have been
Right.
upwards of 3.5 million. But when I saw it live, it was like 2.5 million people were watching across like a couple different Nintendo specific platforms. And oh boy, Nintendo, that direct for sure did not disappoint at all.
Not at all. Here's the one thing that surprised me. Right? There was a metric F ton of games, man. There was so many games in there.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot that I want. We're gonna talk about the elephant in the room later.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there, right? They're not only bringing the first parties, but they bring in those third parties. You can no longer say, it's only on the Switch. Nope, can't say that. Or, it's not going to run on Switch. Nope, you can't say that. It's bringing heavy hitters, man. It has Cyberpunk. It has Final Fantasy VII Remake integrated.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be getting Borderlands 4. It's got Split Fiction Day 1, Street Fighter 6.
Elden Ring,
which the Street Fighter 6 thing is very interesting because somebody actually did a comparison between the Nintendo Switch version and the Xbox Series S. And the Nintendo Switch version blew it out of the water.
Well, I think at this point, objectively, we can confirm, right, that the Switch 2 is on par and above, depending on the situation, a Series S. So,
oh yeah. It's like the interesting thing is here's what I like. And a lot of the big tech guys, they're gonna hate what I'm gonna say right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of glad they didn't put the specs out. The actual it has this processor with this thing and all that. No, most people don't even need to know that because all that does is we've seen it with every generation of console, right?
Mm-hmm.
All that does is make people go, it's not running it because of this thing right here, because of this specification right here. It can't run this stuff.
Yeah, all the people who don't know what hardware is and what actually works and what doesn't work to make games run are the people who are talking about, this doesn't have enough CUDA cores to do this. So that's what they do.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad Nintendo just was like, hey, instead of me telling you what all my all these specific specifications are, because look, the consumer does not give a fuck about DLSS, right? That's for the hardcores. That's
exactly.
No, they don't care about how much RAM it has. They don't care about any of that, right? What they care about is when I put in my cartridge, does the game run? And does it run well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Nintendo was showing. They were showing Cyberpunk running, and actually, when people were playing it at the thing, it was running pretty good. It had it slow, had some slowdowns when they showed it running, but the guys that were doing it, doing that port for the Cyberpunk, were like, "Oh yeah, we've only worked on it for 7 weeks."
Yeah, it's not coming out the day the Switch 2 is launching, so you got time.
Yeah, they're like, we've only been working on this part for 7 weeks. It's like, what? It already looks like that. So that just tells me they've taken they either took the PS3, PS4 version, not PS3, Jesus Christ, Xbox One, PS4 version, or PS4 Pro, Xbox One X, or they took the Series X PS5 version, scaled it down just a little bit. I don't even know if they scaled it down. I have no idea, right? But it wasn't that much. It tells me it wasn't as hard or that much work to make it work within the Switch 2 specs.
Especially, we all also got to note, a lot of this stuff, it probably be, you could play it on the go and docked, but docked is going to run better than on the go.
Oh yeah. Docked is going to give you 4K 60.
Yeah.
They're not going to, which I'm actually glad that they pointed that out. They're like, oh, it can go 4K 60, but they didn't. There's a hidden one that they didn't talk about. So they got 1080 120 and 1440 120.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't talk about the 1440 120 for, a lot of us that like to play on PC monitors and stuff like that. That helps out with that too.
Well, remember, when you're talking to Nintendo people do not care about 1440, right?
No,
they care about 1080 and 4K. Like,
yep.
1440 is for like the people, like you said already, the hardcores are going to care about 1440 because that's where a lot of people play a lot of their PC games at. 1440 high frame rates.
Yeah. And oh man, there was just a lot of. So besides like spec talk and stuff, like, oh, actually, hold on. Here's one of the more important things: the actual in portable mode itself, 1080p, 120 hertz, and it has HDR10.
Mm-hmm.
You know how crazy that is?
Without the OLED screen, also.
Yeah, without the OLED screen. So HDR10, no OLED. Most of the PC handhelds don't even have that. They don't have HDR.
Mm-mm.
So it's a pretty premium system. Like, if it doesn't have the OLED yet. Let's be real. Probably in the next year or so, there's going to be a switch to OLED.
More than likely.
Right? More than likely. But it's already, even besides that, 120 hertz screen, 1080p, HDR10. That is better than the. It's pretty much better than the specs of the Steam Deck.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm going to get jumped on for it, but I don't care. It's better. It has better specs has more power than a Steam Deck in this already, right?
Mm-hmm.
So going out of that, games wise, there's just so many. They the bastards pulled it out and put another Yakuza in there, or not another one, but they put Yakuza 0 director's cut on there. And if you're a fan of the channel, you know me. I love my Yakuza games.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta get it. 36 minutes of extra video content or whatever the hell I don't care. I'm getting it. Okay. But like some of the other games, they have Star Wars Outlaws on. Well, I'm not gonna talk about how Star Wars Outlaws runs because actually I am. It runs like shit on everything. So if it just runs at an acceptable frame rate like all the other consoles, we'll be good, right?
I'm going to guess that's gonna run the same shit as it does everywhere else. Because that's how it is. Like that's not a knock on anyone. Actually, if it's a knock on anyone, it's a knock on Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah. The one that caught my eye was the new Daemon X Machina, Titanic Scion. I was like, what is this? They revealed this Daemon X Machina. I'm like, yeah, I gotta get I needs that. I likes it and I wants it. The one thing I'm curious of is that the version of Elden Ring coming out, is it coming out with the expansion? That I'm not sure.
I actually don't know. I don't know. I feel like probably will because the expansion's been out for a little bit, but yeah. I don't know. Like I can't tell you yes or no right now.
Right. But still, either way, Elden Ring on a Nintendo system, like, something is up because they brought back Madden. Okay, Madden got brought back to a Nintendo system finally.
Look, you were on FromSoft. You didn't talk about the other FromSoft game.
Oh no, I was gonna save that for. Well, screw it. They literally put Bloodborne 2 in the. They literally made the spiritual successor for Bloodborne 2 a Nintendo exclusive.
Mm-hmm. Dustbloods.
Yeah, Dustbloods. So, man, yeah, they came out swinging. It's over like 50 games that they showed on the Direct.
The thing that we talked about, like the new games, right? We didn't even talk about like the I guess I can call them upscaled, quote unquote, but like there are Switch 2 versions of a lot of your favorite Nintendo games that are coming out also.
Okay, so speaking on that, right? I'm gonna give you guys. I'm gonna tell you guys right now. Those games, like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Kirby and the Forgotten Lands. I would, go to a store or something if you find them and go ahead and just buy them because, like, The one, so when you go and when it comes out and they're selling the Switch 2 versions or the Switch 2 editions of them, it's going to be the Switch 1 version on the cart, and then they're going to give you a code for the upgrade, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty much going to be like if you have your Switch 1 version and then you buy the $10 upgrade for it. Just go ahead and do it. Just go ahead and knock those out now. You ain't got to worry about it. You ain't got to overpay.
Y'all bullied Sony and they took it back. Y'all might be able to bully Nintendo also and they take it back also. Because Sony tried that shit and y'all were able to stop them. Y'all can try with Nintendo. I don't think it's gonna work, but you can try.
Yeah. Well, they in Nintendo's defense, not necessarily defense. They're making it very clear what you're getting. Versus Sony, they weren't making it clear. Sony was like, yeah, you're totally buying this version of the game. Yeah. And it's just like the PS4 version of the game, right? Nintendo is making it very clear what's in the package for those Switch 2 editions. But on the other end of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was watching the videos for that Tears of the Kingdom and in Breath of the Wild. They're new games. Like, you can't tell me, like, playing Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild pretty much 4K. Or I'm not sure if it was 4K. It was probably 1440p. Whatever. Higher frame rate, like, that doesn't stutter anything. Just clean. Clean. I implore you guys to watch the videos, man. Like, of them demoing it and showing it and things like that. People were doing everything they could to try to break the frame rate on those games, and they couldn't. Mm-hmm. They were doing the Digital Foundry shit where they've run into the middle of a forest that is fully populated with stuff and then spin the camera around in a circle to try to make the frame rate. Nope, it didn't work. It was smooth the whole way through. Smooth 60. Like, at that point, like, going from 20 FPS to 60 is a completely different game. Mm-hmm. At that point, the visuals look, again, they're all of them, all of it's upscaled, better textures, better resolutions, things like that. It's a different game. Like, it's only gonna be $10 unless if you have a Nintendo subscription, it's free. So you can, quote unquote free as long as you have the subscription.
Yeah, you pay the sub and you got it.
Which I already have a sub, so I got it. But I'm gonna eventually just buy them. Not even eventually. When they make them available, I'm just gonna go ahead and buy that because those ones like the Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild upgrades are like $10. I'm just gonna buy. It's not gonna kill me to buy those. Mm-hmm. The Kirby one, I'm not sure if that one adds more content. I think it does, and it upscales everything, which is why it's $20. They have a breakdown of all the tiers, like the ones that have like pretty much are like free upgrades and things like that.
Yeah,
they're usually like frame rate. It's like frame rate runs better, runs cleaner, kind of like PS5, right? When you put PS4 games that ran like shit on there, now they run good. Mm-hmm. The free update because of the power of the system. So there's free, there's a $10 tier, and then there's 20. And 20 usually has like an expansion plus all that stuff, which is where Kirby and I think Metroid Prime 4 lies in that tier.
Yeah, because they didn't. Because Prime 4 isn't actually. Prime 4 never actually released, right?
No, it hasn't released yet. But the Switch, it's a Nintendo Switch game in all purposes. It's a Nintendo Switch game.
You can say it's probably like those like a quote unquote like upgrade for Switch 2, like that probably.
Yeah, I think it's like the $20 tier, right? Like you buy the Switch version and you can get you up it to the Switch 2 because what happens if you buy the Switch 2 package of it is you get the Nintendo Switch game with the code for the Switch 2 upgrade for that game specifically. So yeah, I think it's really there's a lot, man. Like there's just a lot, and yeah, not to mention that Metroid Prime, that shit looks amazing. And that was in performance mode. So like when they were showing it, it was all in performance mode, and the whole mouse thing. them using like having the control part so you can move around with the controller and then flip it on the mouse and aim with the mouse. Oh my god. That is for FPSs, that is a completely different ball game, man. It is a completely different ball game.
Yeah, it is. They what else they talk about a lot of things in the direct, right? They also have they have that like like the Nintendo Switch Welcome Tour
Yeah.
that you can buy, and you'll get like an idea of like what's happening on there. Like you have, it looks like you have like little icons and stuff like that that you can walk around on the Switch 2 for. So when you pay for that, you can get like a little tour.
So just so you guys know, that is $5.99. How much that welcome tour thing is.
Mm-hmm.
It is $5.99. It's not $10 or $20 like people were thinking. Just to kill that right now, it's $5.99.
Oh, what else? They also talked about like a lot of accessories that you get now, because
Yes.
you get a nice you get a camera now that you can buy. There's a I'm gonna forget stuff as we go for sure, but there's a camera you can buy. There's now you can play things with other people via game share. That's another thing that they added also.
Yes.
There's a game chat button in there, which is probably like the worst idea they could have did, because game chats are game chats. So you know how those are gonna go. But you can now talk to your friends directly through Nintendo, which is nice. Like I said, you have the camera, so you can show up on screen for some games if you want, especially for like Mario Kart and Mario Party. What else did they add? The direct was like
Well,
jam packed with a bunch of stuff.
so I'm not sure if it was on the direct, but the Switch 2 Pro controller has a headset jack now.
That was not they didn't announce that on there.
Yeah, well, yeah. But just so you guys know, the Switch 2 Pro controller has a headset jack now,
Mm-hmm.
just like the 360 controller, or not 360, but Xbox controllers.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they showed Mario Kart World. Showed a whole lot of Mario Kart World. That what can I say about that, man? Like it's Mario Kart.
It's
It
Mario
looks
Kart.
really, really good. It looks really really good. Like that whole open world shit that you could do in between races, and the fact that when you're racing from an actual location to an actual location.
Mm-hmm.
That's your race. I think that's really cool, and it gives you the sense of you actually are karting around the world, around that world.
Mm-hmm.
Donkey Kong looked really good.
Oh yeah,
That
the
looked
new
fun as
sprite.
hell. Huh?
Oh yeah, the new sprite, right?
The new sprite?
Or like the new asset for Donkey Kong now. Like they everyone got nice little upgrades and everything like that too.
Oh yeah,
Like
no,
little visual upgrades, yeah.
I'm talking about the actual Donkey Kong game.
Oh, the actual game. Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, the actual game, man. That looked great.
Oh, what was it? What was it called? Donkey
Bonanza.
Kong Bonanza. Yeah,
He's just tearing everything up, man. Like you can destroy everything, man. Yeah, that shit look cool.
yeah. Like we were talking about, the direct had a ton of stuff in it. So if you for whatever reason, if you haven't seen the direct, you should definitely take some time to watch it, because they announced a lot of stuff in there. There was a lot of hype coming out of the Nintendo Direct, as there should be, because everyone's been waiting for the Switch 2, right? We haven't even talked about like everything like all the upgrades of the Switch 2 directly either. But a lot of stuff was announced in that hour Direct. Very worth the watch.
Yeah, very worth a watch. Yeah, you guys should for sure watch it, and then also watch the tree houses. I was watching the tree houses, and they were just like they're straight up playing the games, man. Like it's showing off the games and how they look. The first treehouse, what I was talking about earlier, had the Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Metroid. They showed all of that stuff. Those tree houses were really good.
Mm-hmm.
Check those out too. But with the direct, after the direct ended, they showed the price of the system, which I wasn't surprised by. Well, at the time, it is $450 for just the console itself, or $500 for the console with the Mario Kart package, the
Yeah,
one that has Mario Kart in it. And then we learned Mario Kart World is $80.
and the world went crazy.
Yeah. So it's probably going to lead us to our next topic, and that's the price of games,
Mm-hmm.
just in general.
Nintendo were the first ones to do it. Everyone kind of knew it was going to happen eventually, right? But
Right.
Nintendo was the first company to officially announce their game prices. They're kind of all over the place too. Also, it's not like there's one that's directly this, right?
Yeah.
New games for Nintendo go from $69.99 to we'll say $89.99 because of some physical copies. So depending on first party, depending on some stuff, there is that gap of price for Nintendo Switch games. Switch 2
Yeah,
games.
I think the lowest is 59.
Yeah, lowest is 59, I
It
think.
it goes from 59 up, and then that's not even talking about the game key things and stuff like that, which we'll speak about in a little bit. Because like the one I'm looking at is Bravely Default. That's 39.99.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's also a DS HD remake. Well, not remake, but remaster.
Yeah, and you expect those to be cheaper anyway. I think that's like the price it came out for, like when it came on console. I think it was like $40. So
Yeah, when it came out on DS, yeah,
yeah, DS.
I
I mean, yeah.
remember because I still have mine. But yeah, it's the $80. And look, I I'm gonna be that guy. I'm just gonna, we ain't gotta like it, okay? But it was going to happen. Like, there's no way in hell it wasn't gonna happen, okay? We are literally right now like paying less for games than we were about, like, including inflation, which actually, if you add in other factors, it just gets much worse. The games before were way more expensive than they are now. The price of games just never went up. It was going to go up at some point in time, and it was Nintendo was just the first to do it. That's all there is to it. Nintendo was just the first to do it. Because like if Sony would have did, which they're going to do it. Whenever they go, hey, we got the PS6 out, every game's $80. It's going to happen. They're not sticking at $69.99 because their games cost way too much to make. And here's the other thing I just want to mention: you guys want 4K stuff? 4K costs money. Those, yeah, the to make stuff 4K cost a lot of money. It's very expensive to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we don't, of course, we're not gonna like $80 games, but not every game is going to be $80, right? And this might even be like a certain games are going to be that price because like on the same token, Donkey Kong Bonanza is 70, right? It's the 69.99 price, which is the standard price for like a PS5 first party game.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was saying before, you can't go back with the thing, well, it's just a Nintendo game. No, it doesn't matter. It's a game. It is a game that took a lot of time to make, and they have to make their return on investment. Like, that's all there is to it.
Mm-hmm. I'm on the other side of this. I do not like the fact that the games are going up. Right? We talked about it before the podcast actually. Like I'm
Yeah.
just not a fan of anyone doing this. I don't think this was a good idea. Like I do not agree with the fact that they're just doing this because at this point now they have now opened the door. And it's Nintendo. Nintendo ain't going to change. The problem with Nintendo also is these games don't go down. Like that's also the problem with Nintendo. They barely go down. You get your sales every once in a while, but if you're looking to buy Breath and Wild right now, you're most likely going to pay full price unless you can find it somewhere used or go to like a shop that has it at a discounted price. So right now, where the games are probably more than likely where they're going to stay. That's just Nintendo. That's just kind of what they do. And it's just like I said, Nintendo just opened the door. That again, we knew it was going to happen. It definitely did not feel like that we need to go here right now though. We're not even gonna count like tariffs and stuff like that. That stuff is a whole nother topic that could make this worse. But yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
I'm just not for them up in the price of games right now.
It was either going to be here or it was going to be GTA 6. Like,
Which also would have still been bad.
it was still been bad and then sold gangbusters. Like, here's the facts, right? Like, the last time the price rose to $69.99, it was an NBA 2K game. It was the first one that had that price, and people complained while buying it instead of just voicing it and not
Mm-hmm.
to make the price go down. So this is going to be the same case. We're gonna complain. People are gonna complain while buying it.
If y'all really want this change, y'all need to stand on business for once and do not buy it. But
The motherfuckers ain't standing on business, dude.
no one ever does.
No,
No one ever does.
it's like telling people, "Hey, don't order Amazon for a day." That shit didn't happen.
Yeah. That's
right?
if you really cared about games, if you really cared about the game prices, please just don't support. That's all you have to do. If there are enough people who do not support, Nintendo will also back down. The problem is, like we just said, no one ever does that.
Right. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna buy me a Switch 2. I'm gonna get that Mario Kart edition, so Mario Kart's $50. But I'm gonna get that Switch 2. Like, find a way to get it. Like, shit. Look, you can get to this part of the podcast. I ain't gonna bullshit you. Yeah, I'm gonna get me a Switch 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna bullshit you here.
That's why like the curious part is about like what's gonna happen, because right now we have to talk about this also. The pre-order in America is currently delayed because of tariffs. The tariffs that have hit. So this could be outdated. We don't know what's gonna happen. Like, we have no idea what's gonna happen. All we know is that we have the base prices. The base prices right now of everything. We have that. We don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. Like, so things could easily go up, right? It's just, that's the nature of the beast that we're in right now. And that part sucks.
Yeah, that part sucks. Yeah. But speaking of pre-ordering in general, some of the places are taking some anti-scalper measures. So one of the places being GameStop. So when we get, I talked to one of the regional managers. I had a chance to talk to one while I was visiting a store the other day. And what she was telling me was that, I asked her, I was like, hey, when if Switch 2 pre-orders eventually come out, is it going to be online or do people have to come into the store and pre-order it? She's like, people have to come into the store and pre-order because, that's their way of, killing the whole scalper thing, is having people actually come in the store and pre-order. And I think it's going to be like one per person, or like at max two. So there's one right there. Best Buy, when you pre-order, it's going to do the Target thing that when Target was doing the PS5s and Xbox Series X's, you have to pick a location local to you to go pick up your system.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another one. And then you have the Nintendo one, which if you haven't registered for that, just as a backup, just in case, I would register for that. Also, go onto the Nintendo website and say that you're interested. And of course, you're going to have over 50 hours of gameplay if you've played your Switch at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they take certain factors into where a scalper can't do it. You're gonna have to have 100 systems at like 50 plus hours. It ain't gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on your Nintendo account, so they're gonna have they can't they literally they're not gonna be able to scalp it. It's what I'm saying. But that one's kind of like a lottery in a way. So sign up now, see what it's. Tell them you pretty much tell them which system you're interested in, and then but that set of pre-orders doesn't happen until like May. So you won't, you pretty much wait until May if you want to wait that long to do your pre-order. So you have those avenues and those options.
If you're in America, you don't really have a choice. It's not open to us right now.
Yeah. Well, the other one is the Nintendo Switch, the one from the Nintendo site, but it just doesn't happen until May. You have to put your interest in now, though.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, like next, the pre-orders were going to be like the coming week, and they canceled them. Well, Nintendo canceled them, saying talking about the tariffs, unfortunately. So we're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, that's gonna be the biggest thing. Biggest thing is like we just said, we don't know when they're gonna open in America. The pre-order's been going everywhere else. Pre-order's been going really well, right? So again, about not standing on business, the pre-orders are going really well currently around the world. So it's just about, for us in America, when it opens up to America and when we're going to be able to grab them and what price they're going to be when they grab them. Right now, the prices. We told you them. We told you the pros. We told you everything about the Switch 2, right? Like, there's a lot of good in the Switch 2. So it's really about honestly, at this point, it's about how big of a Nintendo fan are you. If you're a really big Nintendo fan and you really enjoy this kind of stuff, I mean, it's right there. You can definitely go get it for sure, right? Like there's a lot of good in the Switch too.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of good. There are some things like there was one thing I didn't talk about, which was the storage. So the Switch 2 comes with 256 gigabytes storage now. But they take a new SD memory card called the micro SD Express cards, which are faster than the original ones. And the original ones do not work on there. So just so you know, and the micro SD Express cards are like they start at around 100 for like a 256 gigabyte one
God,
because
I did not know that.
they're like those are like top of the line memory cards, like top of the line memory cards because they're so fast. They got better technology in them. So just a heads up, if in case you wanted to buy them, early, just check the technical specs to see what you need on the page and expand your storage accordingly. But yeah, the Nintendo Switch 2, man. Oh yeah, one. That looks great.
Yeah, I'm gonna flip flop a lot as we go for sure. Right now, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get one though.
Yeah. I think all the upgrades just warrant it. A lot of people were just thinking it wasn't going to be there was significant, but it's actually significant. Like it has like 10 times the power of the original Switch, which we knew it was going to be more powerful. We just didn't know how much more powerful. It's like 10 times more. It is apparently looking more powerful than a Series S. And that's just talking from power standpoint. And then developers, you can tell developers are liking what they're seeing because they're throwing their games at it and making a way to put it on there. And they're all like, hey, this is way easier than trying to do the other one. So yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a great system. You gotta like for yourself. You gotta weigh if you want to pay the amount or not. That's all that really boils down to.
Honestly, yeah.
And a lot of people saying, "Oh, it shouldn't be $450 for all the tech and all the stuff that they have in there." I'm surprised it wasn't like 500, 550 or something like that.
I don't think they could have made it more than like a base PS5. I don't think they could have did that. Like there's
Right.
no that would have I don't think it would have killed it. Nothing can kill a Nintendo console. But
No.
there would have been a lot more conversation. I feel like 449. Honestly, I feel like 449 is a pretty good price for what you're getting.
Oh
Personally.
yeah, for what you get. I wasn't expecting 399. That's you're out of your mind.
Yeah, no. Like realistically, like if you're looking at it realistically, like 449 feels like a really good price for it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I fully disagree on the price of games, but I feel like the price of the console is about right. And
Right.
if you really want to, because everyone's gonna buy Mario Kart, pay an extra $50 and you get Mario Kart. Instead of
Yeah.
paying the 80, you get to pay 50. So
Just pay that extra 50.
yeah. I mean it's kind of a savings, you know?
Yeah, you're saving 30.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just go ahead. You can take that 30 and like buy something else, buy something extra, buy a controller or something. Just you know, pay it. Just pay the extra 50. if you can. Or if they have them, right? Like there's stock things too, right? So
Yeah. That man, you have any thoughts on anything we talked about? Switch to anything else?
no, man, I'm really excited. Like gaming's exciting, but we have the bummer of tariffs hanging over us and trying to keep us from our damn game. So we got that problem.
Mm-hmm.
So once that's out the goddamn way, if it gets out of the way, that's a big if though.
Mm-hmm.
um, we could get to gaming how we want to.
Yeah, man, I agree. I can go on a tirade about tariffs and all that kind of stuff, but we're not gonna make this a political podcast. We're not
Yeah,
gonna do
no,
that.
we're not gonna do that.
Yeah, I can get into that a lot. But that's it, man. You know what to do.
All right, guys, if you made it this far, thank you very much. Yeah, like go get your Switch too. You know I am. You know Lionel is. So get your ass out there and get you one too because you know you want one. So with that, thank you very much. If you like this podcast, tap that like button so it tells the algorithm you like gaming and other people like you will also like the listening to like a gaming podcast like ours. And also tap the subscribe and tap that bell button so you can get all of our content whenever it comes out. Remember, you don't get one podcast, you get 3. And if you want the breakdown, go back to the beginning and listen to us again and give us more. And lastly, comment, because I know we all have some opinions about all, if not all the games we talked about, the Nintendo Switch 2 console. So let's talk about it. So once again, thank you, and we're out.
Peace.